What's up, guys? Welcome back to Biopilot Arms. Today we're going to be discussing whether or not utilizing MILSIM events for airsoft would be good to test your gear for real steel firearms. In my opinion, it is, but not for everything, only certain things. So when it comes down to it, you can test most of your hardware minus your actual firearm and maybe your sights. Because obviously airsoft pellets do not work the same way bullets do. So, they're affected by the wind. They don't have any range. I think the longest you can shoot them is maybe 100 feet, if even that. So, there's not really a reason to utilize your sights per se, unless maybe you're running iron sights or a red dot. Even then, a little iffy. Now, if you just wanted to test, okay, is it connected to my firearm correctly? Like, for instance, this, right? Do I want to make sure that these are going to hold up tightness-wise while I run, for, 2 or 3 days? Sure, you can do that, but, testing the zero on it, you're not going to do that. But, for instance, my whole setup that I have here, right? Now, this is a real firearm, yes, but everything on here except for these iron sights I have tested on my airsoft gun, right? Because, if I'm running around, I want to make sure this handguard's not going to come off. I want to make sure that this flashlight's not going to come off, that, the runtime on the battery lasts as long as I want it to or need it to at least. I did have this sight on there just to see, does it fall off? How often do these walk out? Do I need to put maybe some Loctite on there to keep it on? Do I need to, zip tie certain things down? What do I need to do to make this, go? Also, the sling, am I able to punch my firearm out because of the stretch here, right? Does it hold in a comfortable position against my vest? Things like that. As for the vest itself, you want to be like, okay, now this is also something a little bit off to the side here. If you're running full plates at a MILSIM event, it's a good way to test your endurance. You don't have to, and quite honestly, it's up to you. I normally don't, but that's because, I'm doing running and gunning dynamic training on my own with the stuff in my vest, and when I do security work, I wear a vest all day long anyway, so I'd rather not do that the entire time I'm out for a weekend, in addition to that. But if you don't normally wear a weighted vest, maybe you should think about either going to the gym more or go ahead and, putting those plates in when you go and you run your MILSIM games. Now, when you were talking about the vest setup, okay, does the stitching hold when you're being dragged? Because a lot of the time, games will require you to drag buddies to a safe space before you can medic them. Are you able to get to your IFAK? Now, you don't have to, carry the real stuff that you would in your IFAK unless you want to at an airsoft game. I kind of dim it down. I won't put everything in there, but I'll leave basic first aid in there because there is a chance you get hurt at an airsoft game. So yeah, I have some in there, but then I'll put the Israeli bandages that are required for the actual medicing portion of the game. And then, does it sit comfortably where it's at? I like to use mine as an armrest, right? Does it, jump around a whole lot? Can you get to it with one hand? If this whole thing fits a little bit better when there are actually thick plates in there, so, it's not quite the way that I would want it right now. But on the backside, does that carry handle hold? Do these straps, hold up when you're being dragged? Stuff like that is what you want to test for. And yes, you can test that at normal airsoft games, but in my opinion, those ones aren't too labor intensive because most of the time pickup games like that, it's a, one and done, you're dead, nobody's dragging you anywhere, they just put a hand on you to medic you, stuff like that. They only last maybe half an hour at best. Whereas MILSIM games will be going all day long. And sometimes, depending on which events you go to, they'll have night games as well, which then comes into the, okay, how long does my flashlight burn? Does it actually last days on end without being, recharged? Am I able to use it the way that I want to, thumb activated or pressure pad activated, stuff like that. So for this particular one, right, I have two different kinds of batteries. I have the one that's in there, which is a 36 mAh, and then this one is a 5000 mAh. Same model battery, right? Now, I could not find anything, close to what I wanted to replace this battery, so I just went with the higher mAh, which basically is just the run time, the burn time of the battery, and how long it should last. But I have no way of knowing if it actually lasts longer than that battery without testing it, right? Now, I could do that at home, but I mean, where's the fun in that, right? So I want to test it. Okay, if I'm going to a 3-day Milsim event, is it going to last all day searching through dark buildings plus overnight, and then the next day searching dark buildings plus one more overnight into the next day, before I have to recharge it? Or is it going to die after day one, or dim enough that it's not useful the first night? Do I need a higher mAh battery in order for it to go the distance I need it to? And the same thing for your red dots, right? Obviously, most red dots last, like a year on a battery, but maybe you haven't changed the battery in a while on your laser, your red dot, whatever the case may be, and you take it out to an airsoft game and it dies halfway through. Okay, now you need to replace the battery and that it was almost dead, instead of when you needed it for a real life scenario, and then you get screwed, right? So I think it's really good. And like these mag pouches, I already know I need to replace these. I don't need you to comment down below that I have terrible mag pouches. I know that the elastic is basically done and there's almost no retention here. I know, this one being the worst one, but I get that, okay? I'm gonna replace it at some point, but I don't really care that much because this is mostly a training vest. It's not my, go time vest. I have another vest that I have for that, as well as other mag pouches somewhere. I'll have to find them. But again, that's something to test. It's like, okay, do these mags fall out when you're running? Can you go prone and get low enough? Because what if you have a double stack mag pouches, right? Do you need to relocate some of these mags to maybe either your belt or on the side of your plate carrier? Like, these are things that you can run through, because a Milsim event is going to have a bunch of different aspects to it, right? The ones that I've gone to, as you can see on my channel, have vehicles, have buildings, ditches, night games, just they throw a bunch of stuff at you. And back then I was not tactically aware, and I wasn't actually doing it really necessarily to test all of my gear. I've more recently moved into that mindset, but going back, you can look at it, or I can go and look at it and be like, okay, yeah, like this worked, that didn't. But for you guys, using it as a training opportunity, I would highly advise you to use it that way. Go ahead and put whatever you want on your gun, and then go ahead and go out there and test out everything. Physical fitness, your attachments, your vest, does it hold up? And heck, even your BDUs, right? I'm not wearing any right now, but do your BDUs hold up, right? Are they baggy? Are they, not, form-fitting to you? Are they tearing too easy? Because I had oversized pants that I wore to one of my events, and I tripped and fell. The knees ripped out immediately because they were so baggy, they caught on stuff the whole entire time, and then when I finally fell, it just tore them, right? Your boots, your socks, do your socks wear out? Are your shoes wearing out? Do you have problems? Obviously, you can do a lot of this on a dynamic range, or whenever you go to, if you got private property and you're going out and you're testing whatever. This is primarily for people who might live in, let's say, a city, who can't get out and do that because all you have around you are indoor ranges, or you only go to, do that every now and then, but you prefer to go to Milsim games, right? So this is for you guys. Anyway, guys, that's my take on it. I very much appreciate you guys for watching my videos, for subscribing to me, and I'm gonna try to put out more content for you guys like this, and some more, shooting videos, reviews, all that stuff. I'm probably gonna be reviewing my the flashlight that I have on my gun in a little bit. Anyway, thanks guys. Have a good one. Bye.